Well found. Because now rook f8, we can run and we can hide. This d1 square is important. And with the queen and g4 now, d1 is free, so yeah, well done. Well, someone's begging for bishop c5. So I'll say bishop c5. I'll let you guys calculate it. Is it enough? Has to be. Has to be enough. Why not first knight e5? Because then black can castle. And then want the king to get away from the center. The knight takes e5, black castles, and I don't have a direct threat, I think, in that position. Bishop c5 though threatens to win a piece. But the idea about bishop c5 is, first of all, it's a forcing move. We attack the bishop. If he takes the bishop, we'll take on e5 with check, winning the queen. If he decides to play the bishop to c7, we can also take on e5 with the rook. Because the bishop is all of a sudden pinned, because there's also a checkmate threat on e7. So he can't take back on e5 with the bishop, which means we once again win the queen. So bishop c5, if he protects with the queen, we can take the bishop. And if the queen takes back, suddenly the rook can see it as hanging, which is a problem for black, of course. So he can't protect with the queen. If he protects with the rook, we'll once again take the bishop, rook takes, and then e5 is hanging again, winning the queen. And after bishop c5, if he goes queen f4 check, we just play king b2, I guess, or knight d2, any move where it doesn't have checks, and suddenly the rook on c8 is hanging and the bishop on d6 is hanging. And later on the pawn on e5 might be hanging as well. But this looks pretty good. Knight d4, I think black just takes the knight. Because we don't have a very strong discovered attack, I think. Knight g5. Also black just castles. The same thing as knight e5. Ah, then bishop f4. Okay, that also looks interesting. Knight d4, e takes, bishop f4 check. No, but I get bishop e7. What am I saying? The knight d4 is an option. Nice. Finally thought we had it, then we have a second solution. I hate second solution. But there can only be one. Bishop c5 is clearly winning. True. I think. Oh, hold on, is that clearly winning? What about bishop c5? Rook b8. Hello, hi Liger Bim Bam. Bishop c5, rook b8 might be the problem, guys. Then rook e5, but I'll just play queen takes e5. And if queen a7, I can take on b5. Because the knight is also hanging on b1. Wow. Ah, okay. Okay, you guys are sharp. So bishop c5, rook b8. I'm gonna take on b6. This is getting messy. Holy cow. Yeah, so many lines in chat. That's cute, Simba. That's a cute line. Yeah, I need to think for a bit as well. So many lines. I'm trying to visualize all the moves you suggest, but I can only do one at a time. So let's see what happens here. Well, Heiliger, then bishop takes e5 because the bishop is on b8. Queens. Well, HT, the pawn doesn't necessarily queen because you have knight d7. And ooh, just woke up. Okay, that's okay. Well, guys, I'm not sure. Knight d4. Okay. This bishop c5 is messy. Let's focus on knight d4. I think this move is easier to crack if it's a mistake. So just to get our stuff straight, if queen g4, we can just attack the queen one more time, and now there's no square for him to defend the rook on c8. Yeah, so knight d4 forces pawn takes. Now bishop f4 was the suggestion, which is a nice move. We're just not winning any material after, let's say, king f8. Bishop takes d6, king g8. I know it looks ugly, but we're not winning material. And we're still down the exchange. I don't think that's the solution, to be honest. Well, I'm not sure if it's easier than we expect, because it's a mess. Yeah, bishop c5, then rook e5. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't believe in this line. I like the knight d4 idea. I think it's a pretty nice idea. But I'm gonna stay with my intuition, which is bishop c5. We just take the bishop, I guess. Only 3 points? Are you kidding me? I mean, all these that were 7 points or 6 points were so much easier. This is just. Okay, so rook b8. Certainly have 2 ways to win this one. Bishop takes d6. Rook takes b7. Rook takes e5. Queen takes e5. Knight takes e5. There was a line Simba mentioned actually. He went rook b5 and c7, which is unstoppable. And the king is also not going anywhere because it's trapped. This is nice. This is good stuff. This is good stuff, guys.